Hey guys, welcome to my FI journey. I'm Saul, looking to be financially independent by December of 2026. Today I wanted to go ahead and show you my spreadsheet. It's actually a template that I took out of my spreadsheet to make it a little bit easier on everybody else. The spreadsheet that I actually use has a lot of hard code information in it, as far as my actual birth date, my current age, the amount of money that I actually have on my account. So I took out all of that kind of formula and created a different spreadsheet that's a little bit more customizable, where you can update things like your age and your birth date, and definitely accounts. So I'm going to go through that in a little bit. I do warn you, it is a little bit longer than my typical videos. This one is probably going to be around 20 to 25 minutes. But at the end, please let me know if you are interested in me sharing a copy of this spreadsheet. Let me know, send me an email. I will leave my email address in the comments so that you can reach out to me and let me know where to send you that spreadsheet. So let's get to it. I'm gonna need you to come in on Saturday. Show me the money. And welcome back everybody to my FI journey. Today we are talking about the spreadsheet that I have created in order for me to track the progress and estimate, when am I going to be able to retire. I spent a lot of time. I think I've probably been working on this spreadsheet for about 2 years now. I've made a lot of improvements. This is actually just a template that I extracted out of the actual file that I use. The file that I use is very specific as far as my birth date, salaries, the amount of money in the various accounts that I have. But I believe the template that I've created is probably going to be the best option for everybody else, because that way you can customize a lot of things. So it's there's more than 3 tabs, but these are the real only 3 tabs that you need to worry about. It's basically your budget, your current cash flow. Anything that you see highlighted in green is something that you need to update to make it personal for you, right? This is something that is, personal finance is personal for everybody. Everybody's going to be different. So you need to update anything that's going to be in green. And in this particular tab, the budget now dash cash flow, here's where you're going to be putting your monthly expenses, right? Things like utilities, groceries, car payments if you have anything, HOA payments if you have anything, etc. You have a total of 31 slots that you can use to put in your expenses. I put in a few more in case you have something that I don't have here, like childcare or whatever. But feel free to change the names. The names don't really make any difference. What we're looking at is the total amount here, right? So that's what this number comes down to. So in this example that I'm giving you with those numbers, which are, by the way, all made up numbers, it gives you a total of 5,754. Now this is accounting for an additional 12% in taxes, because if you haven't seen the video about taxes that I put on my channel, just because you're not getting a paycheck doesn't mean you don't pay taxes anymore, right? Income will result in taxes. So I'm adding that 12% into your expenses because you will have to pay taxes to cover the income that you're going to need to cover those expenses. So in this case, I'm adding 12%, which is probably a good estimate. If you need to change that, you can go ahead and just highlight that column here and then just change this 12 to whatever rate you think you're going to land up. And then what you see in yellow is something that is automatically populated either from a formula or from another location, and you don't need to worry about that. Here you're seeing your net payout, and this is without any bonuses if you get. So this is on a typical month where you don't get paid a bonus. This is how much money you bring home after taxes, after contributions. And also if your spouse or partner is working, then you would get his or hers monthly income and contribution. Now in this example, I put it for a single person, so you're not getting, you don't have a partner, there's no additional income from another person, so that's why it's showing up as 0 here. Once you have your total expenses, then you move into your inputs tab. Now this is where you're probably going to spend a little bit more time filling this out. This is going to be, how much money you're making after taxes. If your spouse or partner are also contributing and they're working, how much money they bring in every month. Again, this is after taxes. Don't worry about the brokerage account. This is going to get updated automatically, and I'll show you where that's going to happen. Any money that you have in your traditional 401k or IRA accounts, in this case I set it to 0, but you can adjust it for whatever amount of money you have. And then the rate that I set here is the expected rate of return of those accounts. Now, a conservative number is 6%. What I like to do is about every month I go in and I see what's my year-to-date rate of return for that particular account, whether it's the 401k or the IRA, and I just type in that number. So that's going to make a difference in how much money it's going to be projected, in the coming years. If you receive any stock awards, so put the amount of money that you get every quarter in stocks. If you don't receive any, just change that to 0. If you own a home, or if you're paying for a home, what's the current estimated price and how much is left on your mortgage. The reason I have this is just to calculate your net worth. And then you do have the option, if you're deciding on retiring, you most likely are going to downsize if that is something that you're looking to. So I do take into account, how much money you would get from that sale and add it to your total number of available cash at the moment you retire. If you have any money market savings account or checking account, type the amount of money that you have, the balance that you have there, and type in the rate of return of interest of those accounts. If you have any HSA or Roth IRA accounts, add that value there. And in my case, my HSA allows me to invest that money. So this is the amount of money that you would have into the investable bucket within your HSA. Or if you have a Roth IRA, then you would put the amount of money that you have there invested. Also, if you have any yearly bonuses, type that amount there. And again, this is after-tax money that you have to put here. Also, if you're making any contributions to retirement accounts, so this is pre-tax, right? So in this case, this example here, it's just a number, which is incorrect, because there's no way you can contribute 9,000, to an account. So let's say maybe you're maximizing your benefit, which in 2021 it's 19,500. So you can just do 19,500 divided by the 12 months, and that's what's going to give you here how much money you actually contribute every month. Now, I'm saying including employer match, so maybe your employer gives you a maximum contribution of whatever percentage. Just type in the amount of money from every month that you actually get from your employer. So I'm just going to put like $350 just to make up a number. So that comes down to $1,975 monthly contribution to your retirement accounts. And then you move on to your last working age. So in this case, if you put 54, that means that you will work the whole year that you are 54, and then once you turn 55, you stop working or you stop receiving an income. I put in a comment here of a max value of 59, basically because if you're already 60, you technically can already remove money from your retirement accounts. So at that point, technically, you're not retiring early because you are allowed to take, disbursements from your traditional or Roth IRA accounts. So 59, that means you're basically just retiring as soon as you're able to withdraw from your retirement account. So, it doesn't really count as retiring early. And then an estimated rate of inflation, I put in the 3%, which is what we typically expect. Anything that you see other than green, you don't have to worry about making any changes. That gets calculated automatically. And then lastly, your birth date. So just adjust it for whatever date you have, and that's going to help as far as how many years you got left to make those contributions for 401k, any bonuses, all of that. So basically, what this is going to do is it's going to take your leftover amount, right? So once you put in your salary, your spouse's salary, it's going to look at what is your typical monthly expenses, and it's going to give you an amount. Now, we are expecting that this amount is going to be positive. That means you are living within your means, and then you have a little bit of money left. So if that is the case, then what's going to happen is any extra from your monthly take-home pay, it's assuming that it's going to get invested. It's going to go into your brokerage account. Additionally, anything that you're receiving as far as bonuses or stock awards are also assumed to go into that brokerage account. Now, how do you update your brokerage account? If you scroll down, you're going to see a bunch of ticker symbols, quantities, dividends per share per quarter, and your cost basis. Now, these are actually the tickers that I currently held in my brokerage accounts. These are not the amounts of units that I held. This is just an example. Just wanted to show you how to do this. So for example, if you do own CLM, but let's say you don't own 10 shares, maybe you own 1,000 shares. So you would change this to 1,000. Then you would go in and look at the dividends rate per quarter. Now CLM pays dividends monthly. So just multiply by 3 the actual dividend rate. In this case, CLM is paying currently 16 cents, just a little over 16 cents per quarter per share. So I'll make sure to update that. And then what was your cost basis, right? In my case, it was 13.15. So as you can see, it has gone down, but let's say if you buy them now, you can update this to 11.89 just to get an updated value of your actual gain or loss. And then you can just keep going down the list. Now, if for whatever reason you're investing in something different, let's say maybe you don't own ORC, just go ahead and change it here, right? So you can change it to Facebook, just type in the ticker symbol, hit enter. It's going to automatically find that ticker symbol and update it for Facebook. So again, just update your quantities. So let's say you have 100 shares of Facebook. I don't think Facebook pays any dividends, so here I would just put 0. And then what was your cost basis? So right now the price per share is 360. Let's say that you bought them at 350 and just make that update, right? So you can keep going. I think I have about 22 or a little bit more slots where you can basically type in your dividend. So it's 28. So you can keep doing that for as many shares as you have. If you have more than that, probably just focus on the ones where your majority of amount of money is held. And don't worry about the ones where you maybe just have like 1 or 2 shares. So as soon as you start doing that, you're gonna start getting updates on your brokerage account. So if you notice right now, it says it's worth 48,000 with a dividend rate of 4%. But let's say, you know, maybe you do have RYLD, you have 1,000 shares of those. RYLD is paying 11.8%. And let's assume that, you know, you did keep that same cost basis. So now you're getting a dividend rate of 6% instead of 4%. And obviously your amount went up. So as you keep updating this, it's going to make those calculations for you. It's going to also update your current net worth. And then the interesting thing here is once you have all those numbers, then you can start looking at your availability within the different decades, starting when you turn 60. Now, when I look at the 60-year-old line, this is only amount of money in non-retirement accounts. Why? Because let's say you decide to retire at 50 or 55, then you're going to need to have some money to cover that gap between 55 and 60, which is when you're going to be able to start removing money from your retirement account, such as an IRA or a 401k. So that's why that calculation here is only looking at money outside of retirement accounts. And then once you look at the 70, 80, 90, and 100, this one's taking into consideration the amount of money in all accounts, including retirement accounts and non-retirement accounts. Now, in this scenario, with the calculations that we put on, for a 55-year-old, or for a 45-year-old that is looking at retiring at 54, we can see that the numbers don't really make sense. Like that person, he or she would not be able to retire at 55, last working age of 54, because they're going to be running out of money. So what you need here to do then is start either, you know, updating your age, maybe work 1 more year. You'll see that if you work 1 more year, you will have a little bit more of money at 60, but you're going to start going into the negative by age 70. So maybe then work another year, and now you start getting a little bit better, but still you will have months where you go into the red, into the negative. So then you would have to start playing around with, okay, when is the last day or the last age that I can actually work? And just keep working through that cycle. Now, every year that you delay, you know, you are increasing your inflation rate, right? So the amount of money that you're going to need is always going to be more. If you notice here at the estimated yearly expenses at retirement, it's $104,000 if you decide to retire after 59. If you bring it down to 55, this is going to go down to 92 because of the inflation rate. So really, with this salary, with that amount of contributions, you're not really going to be able to retire early. So you would be needing to looking at maybe having, your partner go into working. Let's say the partner does go into work, and let's say he or she also bring in $6,000 a month. Things change drastically, right? So now you can see you're in pretty good shape. If you do make it to 100, that's when you go into negative. So maybe you both decide to work just one more year, and now you're good. At that point, you're pretty good. You're all in the negative. You're all in the dark, which means you're never going to run out of money. And then here, what I have here is years of cushion. It's basically how many years could you have lived without receiving any retirement income from, at the point of time when you turn 60. So in this case, when you turn 60, you would be left with just a little over $1.6 million. So that means that if this number is negative, it means you're really making more money than what you need in dividends in this case. And you can see it from the example here. Right now, you would be making about $8,900 in dividends when your expenses at retirement with inflation per month are just $7,900. So you're making more money than what you need to be spending here. So that's why this number is negative. If you were to move this back to 55, it's a little bit different. You do run out of money because of inflation. This still went down. This also went down. So you're still good until the point where you actually make it to 100. Now, I know this is a lot of numbers and this is a lot of cells. To make it a little bit easier, I'm just going to change this to 56 and then go to the graph tab. So the graph tab is where you can actually see what's happening with the money, right? The gray line is your brokerage account. That's where you have your investments. This is where you're getting the dividends or growth. And you can see how it's behaving. And then the blue line is your retirement account. This is how it's building up. When you start to see it go down, it's at the moment in time when you turn 60 and you're able to withdraw. I'm setting it so that you start withdrawing from your retirement account and your investment account, your brokerage account continues to grow, just reinvesting those dividends. If you scroll to the right, you're going to see a second chart. This chart is basically how much dividends you're getting per month. So as you start right now, you're pretty low at $482, but if you keep going through the dates, through the years, and you can see the dates down here, you're going to notice that it's going to start to grow as your brokerage account starts to grow. Once you notice here it's starting to decline, then obviously because you're going to have less money, then your dividends are also going to be declining. But overall, you can see that it's in pretty good shape. Now, this doesn't go all the way to 100. That's going to depend on your current age, but it basically stops at the year 2071. So however old you're going to be in 2071, that's what this graph calculates. But here you can tell, if you keep going, it's going to continue to go down. The dividends are going to continue to drop. And if you go back to your inputs chart, that's where you would see that number started to grow down here, right? So we went from 3 million to 2 million between 90 and 100 and so on. So this is the template that I have. It's pretty accurate. There is another tab where I have all my calculations. Feel free to go in if you like, just unhide it. And it's the forecasting table. It's very complex. I mean, just to show you the formulas for retirement, once you start removing from retirement, that is the formula, right? It's accounting for how old you are, the current age, when were you born, required minimum distributions, do you have enough money in your accounts to continue taking out of your retirement accounts, or are you going to need to tap into your other accounts? So it's pretty complex. This is what's taken the majority of time for me to come up with. That's why I have this hidden. It doesn't really make sense for you to mess with it. Plus, there's really nothing for you to change here. So I'm just going to go back and hide it. Focus on the inputs. Focus on your budget. Also, things change. Like maybe you're not going to have car payments forever, so you can probably reduce that in a couple of years. So whenever that comes, change that back to 0, and then see how that's going to affect, right, your payments, your accounts, the values on those numbers. Let me know if this is something that is of interest to you. I don't have this located anywhere just yet. I'm still working out a couple of things just to make it a little bit easier for everybody to use. But if you are interested in using this spreadsheet, let me know. Either send me an email. I'm going to put my email address in the comments of this video. Send me an email and I'll send you the spreadsheet with the password to unlock it. The other nice thing that I want to call out is this file updates these values on its own. Every time you open the spreadsheet, it'll try to update the files, but also you can go into the data tab and just click refresh all, and the numbers will get updated as, you know, whatever the prices are fluctuating through the day. So it gets up to date. You don't have to change any of that. All you have to worry about is how many you have and how much dividends they pay, if any, and what was your cost basis. Everything else is going to get calculated for you. So please let me know again if this is helpful. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Also make sure you subscribe so that whenever I make an update or post a new video, you get alerted. And again, if you are interested in trying to use this spreadsheet, let me know. Send me an email so that I can forward you this file along with the password so that you can open it. And I hope you enjoy it. Let me know. Until next time. Thank you.